Hi folks, James here, Usher Plant Care. I just wanted to talk today about some tick safety issues, but particularly about alpha-gal syndrome. Some people know it as the red meat allergy. Yes, it's real. It is unfortunately becoming more commonly known about, especially in Long Island, because so many Long Islanders are now suffering from alpha-gal. But even some medical folks that I know don't really know very much about it yet. There's still research being done, and it can take a while to identify it if you don't know what the symptoms are, and which is scary and dangerous. It affects everyone differently, but for some, like me, it can put you into anaphylactic shock if you're unaware. So just a quick recap of my experience with it is probably 2 or 3 years ago. I think it was early fall, which is still tick season. It's always tick season out here on Long Island. I went and sat down, took a hike, Turrell County. Some of you know it, it's on the South Shore, it's beautiful. It ends at an opening near some water, and there was a bench there. I went and sat down at a bench for 15-20 minutes that had some overgrown grass near it. So I was not being as tick conscious as I should be, because later that night I realized I was covered in ticks, extremely small ones. A lot of you guys have had this experience. They call them seed ticks. Sometimes they're really nymphs. It's a life stage of ticks where they're extremely small, hard to notice until your skin starts to get really irritated, which can be hours after they've already attached and started feeding. So I stopped counting after 40 ticks that night, and I knew to watch out for signs of Lyme disease. Many of you are familiar with that. You have to look out for bullseye rash, for example. But I was not familiar yet with alpha-gal, so I wasn't really looking for that. And I wasn't sure what type of tick it was because it was so small. It was too hard to identify. So coincidentally, I was on a diet during this time where I was avoiding dairy and red meat for unrelated reasons. And the day that I ended this diet and had a bacon cheeseburger to celebrate with my friend Mark, he's our office manager. You might know him if you're a customer. Yeah, I ended up in the emergency room that night. It started with a few hours after the cheeseburger. I had looked like a little rash, and then hives all over my whole body. I thought it was just a skin irritation thing. I've had something like this before, where my skin just gets irritated. But then it started to turn into stomach cramps, really severe stomach cramps. And finally, I started having difficulty breathing. And that's when it clicked that, oh, this is some kind of allergic reaction. This is dangerous. And luckily, I had a friend drove me to the hospital. I went to the emergency room, where they pumped me full of steroids, which, took the danger away from the situation. They still didn't know what it was. And when they took blood tests from me, I asked them, hey, can you check for alpha-gal syndrome? It had been vaguely familiar to me. I had heard of it before. And I had just started to sort of put together the pieces that, a month ago I was covered in ticks. And this is the first time I've eaten red meat since then. Maybe this is that, who knows? They said that they could test for it, meaning that they had a little checkbox for alpha-gal syndrome on the blood test, but they didn't know what it was. They're like, yeah, whatever that is, sure, we can test for that. This is what I mean by it not being that well known yet. So, yes, soon enough, they got test results in, called me, and they said, yes, you have alpha-gal syndrome, whatever that is. I met with a few allergists to then get my head around what is alpha-gal syndrome. And so I know many of you have had experiences similar to this. It means you have to quit red meat. And really, for some people that are very sensitive to it, all mammalian products. That means dairy, that means gelatin. It's really any product that comes from an animal that is not born through an egg. So live birth animals, pig, cow, sheep, lamb, this kind of thing. I don't know how to answer about echidnas or duckbill platypus. People have tried to stump me with that one. I don't know. I don't eat it. I think they're endangered. Anyways, I only bring this up to let you know something to be aware of. Hopefully not to scare you, give you another reason to be worried about nature. I'm still out here hiking. You just have to pick tick-friendly spots like paved trails. But yes, this made me extra conscious of tick safety steps. Long Islanders have to be vigilant of this always. But also, if you know anybody that has unexplained severe cramping, not everybody goes into shock when they have the red meat after this sort of tick encounter. Some of them just have really bad unexplained stomach pains, and it can go on for a long time until they hear from an allergist or until somebody brings this up to them. So just something to be aware of. Check your pets, talk to your friends and family about tick things. Don't give up on nature. It's still out here. You just gotta be a little extra careful. And this allergy does not necessarily last forever for everyone. About a year after my whole incident, I did start to slowly reintroduce beef, etc. And I was fine until I got bit again. My job keeps me outdoors and in tick territory sometimes. So after that, another bite from another Lone Star tick, I had symptoms return. I carry an EpiPen just in case I accidentally eat something that would be dangerous for me. But also something you should know if you suffer from alpha-gal, or if you are nervous that you're going into some sort of shock or allergic reaction, is that Benadryl is a really helpful thing to keep around, or quick run to a CVS and get Benadryl if you start noticing some of these symptoms. It can slow down or stop the process, the reaction, at least for the moment. So that's really helpful. Anyways, just wanted to share that and say enjoy the rest of your summer, folks. We'll be seeing you soon. And get in touch with us for more tick information, or if you're in a really ticky area and you need organic tick treatments, that's our specialty. All right, folks, be well.